I'm here with PJ Grace, and there's such value that you can get from a garden. And I'm not talking about material value. Being in the garden helps with all of our problems. It great physical health benefits, but also, would you agree, PJ, it gives great mental health benefits. Can you tell me a bit about your backstory?
My story was that I had a mental breakdown there about 25 years ago, and I said I was in and out of psychiatric hospitals, and I was getting every kind of a, and I came across a group called Grow, and it changed my life. It gave me a positive feedback about how to look after my mental health. And I said the one thing I always found out is I always say to people, you're the principal agent of your own recovery. You have to put the work in to get to bottom of it. Because I said the battlefield of the mind. I always said the battlefield of the mind. I said is what we have to deal with here. As I said, it's to get our thoughts and feelings and emotions into perspective. And I said, well, one of the reasons I'm trying to do this now, I said I'm living in a private place, and I just want to give people a ray of hope. Is how they could deal with their mental health.
And how are you intending on doing that, PJ? What's your latest project? What project do you work? What are you here in Mallow today for?
I'm here in Mallow today to get ideas for a garden of hope. I have my own Southside Turles, and I said I just want to put in a garden of hope. Maybe a few features in it. One of the features I'd like to see in it is I got a churn there lately from a friend of mine, the old churns and and when I went out to him, he said, PJ, will I take the lid off it? No, I want you to keep the lid on this, he says, because that's where I hid all my emotions, and the stigma was in there, all the emotions. We always keep the lid, what I was trying to do is just trying to break the stigma, and people to come out. And I always said to people, I said, would it help to talk? Would it help people listen? If you listen to what's going on their inside, because I found that I had to reinvent or recreate myself with positive thoughts and positive feelings and positive emotions.
And do you mind me asking, PJ, two things? Number one, how did you do that? Which is probably a multifaceted answer, I'm guessing. And number two, how are you now? So how did you do that?
How I did it was I had a great friend of mine who was a very spiritual man. He introduced me during my breakdown. I said I couldn't get off of bed. I was suicidal twice. I was trying to get out of the world. And now, as I said, he introduced me to a place in Clonmel through a foster rehab scheme. And I said where I was going into was helping people with in day centres dealing with depression and emotional and suicidal tendencies, And I said that's what got me up and going,
And how are you now?
I'm in a really good place, but I said the only thing is people said to me there. I did a program there lately. I said to the interviewee, or the interviewer said to me, Mr. PJ, you said something there before we had a cup of coffee. You got the gift of depression. Because I learned more about myself by going through that. I feel my breakdown was a breakthrough into a good space. I think I grew to maturity within myself by going through depression,
It's if you don't mind me saying so, a fabulous way to look at it, that you get this depression, which I suppose many, if not all of us, suffer from at some point in our life, and to look at that as a gift and as an opportunity to grow, I think is fantastic. Did you use the garden, the great outdoors, the green environment, call it what you will, to help on that road to recovery?
Oh, I did, yeah. One of the reasons I feel it myself, I said, if I look back now, when I first got depression, I said, when I feel I have a bad day, I said, first thing I do is to get out in the open air. I have a little garden where I'm trying to do. I said, I go out there, cut my grass, keep the mind off it. Or else, when you're feeling you're having a down day, I said, you need to get out there and be active in the mind, in the spirit, mind and body, like, you know. And I said, go out there and sit out there. I said, I feel myself. I said, somebody said to me there lately, now Peter, you're cured. You're never cured, but now I know how to handle a bad day.
And I know, and I don't care whether you want to call it connecting with God, nature, the universe. I don't mind what you call it, but there is great healing to be had outdoors and just touching the soil. You're developing this Garden of Hope in Thurles. To what end? What do you hope to achieve with it?
It is only I want to do it what I want to do with it is people would call. Lads I've taken in a few years ago, they built this place from outside, and I said it's a kind of it's a little oratory, as I call it. Like, you know, people come in, sit down, have a chat, and I said I'd love if you did come down and have a look at it yourself sometime in when you get the time. But I said more people have come into that little place. Peter, there's something about this place.
Well, I have on camera, on social media, committing myself to coming down to visit in Thurles. I'd love to come down and see it. I am absolutely delighted to meet with you. I think what you're doing is wonderful, and I'll put a call out on Facebook that if there is anybody that has any ideas or can help, I'm sure you'll be glad of it. So respond to this post, please.
Yeah. The one thing, as I said, I would love to see some of my own, like the children's situation. I said I'd love to see a swing in it, because I said when I think of a swing, I think of the mood swings, you know. And the other situation I'd love to see, I was looking around here, I'd love to see a water feature in it as well, or a wellness well. As kind of a wishing well, you know. And I said, "'Tis only a small little garden, like." But I said, "It means." I said, I often say to people, I said, "If I can help somebody as I pass this way, then my living will not be in vain."
PJ, I can't put words at the end of that. I can't say any better than what PJ has said. If there is anybody out there that does want to help, would like to help with this project, and like PJ in Thurles, we'd be delighted to hear from you. Please get in contact. Thanks, PJ.